Hello once again from Cards Camp. Rich Gray alongside Bob Kemp and Ed Cole for NBCSports1060.com and another Cards Camp report. And maybe potentially good news, I'm not quite sure, but at least Bruce Arians is hopeful that Sean Weatherspoon, Chris Johnson, Gerard Powers will get back on the practice field at some point this week.
That's what he said today. Hopeful by the end of the week, right?
Yeah. Powers, Johnson, and Weatherspoon. Hopefully at the end of the week, Weatherspoon was out there. They were all out there, but it's just a matter of them getting out there in pads and getting some practice. Hopefully they'll play on Sunday in Oakland. We'll see.
Out there being on the sidelines. Now, One other thing about Oakland is that was probably the worst playing surface in the NFL. It's like playing on concrete. So in addition to them, I'm guessing it's another reason they want to get Palmer out of there as fast as possible, and they don't trust their offensive line. I don't know if you want guys coming off of hamstring injuries playing on concrete 2 days later.
Right.
That is a fair point as well. Ed, you have the full injury report from today's practice?
Yes, Michael Floyd, no cast today. He had a black bandage, like a band on his hand, so that's a good sign. No cast for him.
But he's not in any. He's just on his short. He had sweats and just his.
He had his jersey and sweats on. But Arians is hopeful he'll be back for the New Orleans Saints game. But it's good that he doesn't have a cast on. That's good. He doesn't have that. So again, we talked about Powers, Johnson, Weatherspoon. All should be back by the end of the week. Mike Upati's out, obviously. Earl Watford may be back tomorrow with his ankle.
Yeah, I think this is a really big deal because they want to give him the right tackle spot to start the season. I think it's becoming apparent that Bradley Sowell is not the guy they really want to play there for Bobby Massey, assuming Massey is ever suspended. And they wanted to. He said it on Monday that they want Watford to play right tackle this week, and he's missed the first two practices of the week. So he's got an opportunity here, and he's not out there.
And the last person is Troy Nicholas with a hamstring. New addition.
Yeah, a new addition. He's been hurt with various injuries here. When he's been healthy, he hasn't done anything for 2 years. So I'm sure he'll make the roster, I guess, but I'm not sure why.
Fair points, yeah, because when he's been out there, it hasn't been very productive. And again, it's the same hamstring injury that he had already injured, so who knows how long he's going to be out with that injury. What are some things that you noticed from practice this afternoon, Bob?
Well, first, there were very little drills at all with the ones versus the ones. Basically, the first 20 minutes of team drills, ones versus ones, and after that, it was total scout team. And I think that a couple things we could get out of that is some of the guys running on the scout team, which is probably not the greatest sign if these guys aren't going to get cut next week or be possibly cut next week, but certainly roster bubble would be Lorenzo Alexander, Teamu, Shaughnessy, and Marion Grice all running with the scout team today. Now, Alexander was with the twos a little bit, but primarily scout team for all four of those guys. So that's probably not the best of signs. At least tells you that they're not running with the ones or twos on a regular basis. Right. Mm-hmm. So that they're not etched in stone to be on the final roster today. And in addition to that, we saw Gresham with the ones a little bit, and he actually caught a couple passes.
Yes, he did.
That we saw.
Yeah,
like from Carson Palmer, the starting quarterback.
Yeah, how about that?
So because I was starting to wonder if he's locked for this roster, but then the Nicholas thing. And Gerald Christian, I'm sorry, seems to be a nice guy. I hope he had did they already have that parade for Mr. Irrelevant?
Yes, yeah, they had it over the summer.
Well, they're not going to have a parade when he's playing here at any time soon. So, but he's that's a wasted pick, it appears.
So, what are some other few items that you've noticed in camp? Is that all? Well,
not much. I mean, they ran some 4-2-5 sets with the first unit out there, and the four were Morrow, Campbell, Rucker, and Okafor. The two were Minter and Buchanan, and the five defensive backs. Powers isn't out there, so Bethel was out there. Then Matthew, Johnson, Jefferson, and Peterson. Mm-hmm. So in essence, it's like six defensive backs. And when they were going ones on ones, that was the primary defensive group. So I don't know. I was thinking about this. That might be just strictly for New Orleans because I'm sure they're already game planning for that, and at least scheme-wise. And if you take a look at New Orleans, they still are going to run. They say they're going to run more, which I think they probably will, just based on some of their draft picks and their offseason acquisitions. But they run a lot of 4 wide receiver stuff, and that would be the kind of defense you'd want to run against the Saints, possibly. So that was interesting that we didn't see a whole lot of 5-2 with the I call it a 5-2 with the they call it 3-4, but it's 5 guys and then 2 linebackers. And that was totally different than what we've been led to believe. And I think that's in part because there's only one middle linebacker around here that they trust.
Yeah.
And the Larry Foote talk has started around here the last couple of days again. And he's, I guess there's a deadline here upcoming.
Monday.
So, he hasn't shut the door on that. And that's the poll question for tomorrow, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Do they need to drag him out of, well, I didn't use the word drag, but do they need to
coax him out of retirement?
Get him to play for another year at this point? So that's the door hasn't been shut apparently on that.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. They had Alani Fua out there with the ones running with Mentor in that 4-2-5 set as well, and they had Shaq Riddick was back today, so he was coming off the edge. Like you said, Josh Morrow was coming off the edge along with Golden. So they're trying different mixes of these linebackers
I never saw
and edge
Riddick
rushers.
anything other than scout team, and he looked awful.
Yeah, he was rough.
He's either hurt or has no clue or both.
He did look lost out there.
Yeah, either or that or he's hurt. I mean, he just looks like he can't move. And one other thing today, there was a mention during the television broadcast on Saturday night that Gerard Powers was fighting for his starting spot, and Bruce Arians made it perfectly clear today that that's not the truth, and that he is clearly the starter and Bethel's the backup.
So, Ed, I know Carson Palmer spoke today, which I'm assuming we're having on your show at some point tomorrow.
Yeah,
that's a good assumption on my part. What other things are you going to be working up on the website?
We talked to Chris Johnson after the practice, so we'll work on something with Chris Johnson. We talked to Dr. Jen Welter today, so we'll work on something probably for her tomorrow.
All right. Anything else to look forward in tomorrow's show, Bob?
High quality.
Okay. That's good. So, again, we'll be out at the Nest Sports Bar and Grill tomorrow from 11 to 3, the Sports Home with Bob Kemp and the Blitz with myself from 11 to 3. And then we'll be back on Fridays. Friday's practice open to the public?
It is. I got that confirmed today. There seemed to be a little confusion about that because it's a 9:30 a.m. practice. That is open to the public. So the last 2 days, tomorrow at 2 o'clock and then 9:30. They say to 11:30. I'm guessing that's going to be probably a short practice because the last 2 Fridays have been about an hour and 20 minutes maybe. So I'm guessing that's going to be a short one. But that practice on Friday morning, which is the last practice of this camp, is open to the public. Confirmed today.
So there you go. Tell your bosses you're coming in late on Friday morning and come out.
Well, tell your bosses you're not coming in.
You don't come in at all.
Okay. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I was trying
if you
to
have sick days, use it.
No. You'll be there Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah, can you show up Thursday and have a nice long weekend, boss? Yeah, that's what you do. That's how that works. Yeah.
All right, so for Bob Kemp and Ed Cole, I'm Rich Gray. This has been another Cards Camp Report.
You could make it a sports day. You could come for camp at 9:30.
There you go.
You can come join us at the Nest for our final training camp broadcast for lunch.
Right.
And then the Diamondbacks are home on Friday night. So you can, do what you need to do before you get to the Diamondback. Don't go to work. Yeah. But, that's a whole sports day here.
A lot of high school football, too. You do that. Catch a good high school football game. I don't know any of the good teams, but, probably not before.
Probably not.
The game's Thursday night, I guess.
Centennial
and
Saguaro, yes.
Even I know that game is Thursday night.
That's a huge game.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so for Bob Kemp and Ed Cole, I'm Rich Gray. This has been another Cards Camp Report on NBCSports1060.com. We will talk to you tomorrow.